Hello, my name is Ryan Morgan, and I am the founder of AllDoneConsulting.com. I created this company to show business owners and investors how they can take their money from real estate, traditional businesses, and stocks and receive higher returns on their money through done-for-you services by investing into experts and teams that are specialized in different types of business models that they can purchase similar to a franchise and work on a profit share. So in the past 2 years, I have helped over 70 clients invest into the e-commerce automation space on Amazon, eBay, Shopify, and Walmart. And I'm shooting this quick presentation because I've actually been introduced to a model that has a similar entry price point, but much higher upside and much less competition. It's called Uber Automation, and I want to quickly go over the pros and cons and why I believe that it's a much stronger investment for you if you're truly looking to retire and create a consistent cash flow in 2021. So let me quickly go over e-commerce and let me go over the pros and the cons. So starting off number one with the pros, e-commerce is a hot thing right now because of COVID. Retail is going down. People are buying things online more than ever before. So that's obviously a pro. Another pro is it's a low startup cost relatively to a traditional business. It's completely hands-free, doesn't take any of your time, and there's plenty of proof of concept. If you go on Google, if you go on YouTube, and you type in Amazon automation, you'll see plenty of companies that are offering these services where investors or franchisees are buying into a model where a business being set up completely done for them without using any of their time. So that gives an investor the confidence to move forward with it because they know that it works for plenty of other people. Now let's go over the cons. So because there's plenty of proof of concept, there's also plenty of saturation. So that's one thing I hear very often on phone calls. The client will ask like, hey, am I competing with the other clientele that bought into the same company? And the truth is, and the reality is yes, every time someone sets up another store, there's more competition. Although there's still plenty of people making money and e-commerce is a booming market, that is something that you have to realize that with Amazon there's 2 million people that you're competing with, and with Walmart it's over 30,000. Another con with e-commerce automation is suspension. So you can invest 20, 40,000 to an Amazon or Walmart store, and you can invest into a strong company with great integrity, and for any reason the business could just be shut down, it could fail. It could be suspended to no one's fault. And that just means that you invest into something that's not producing you cash flow, which isn't going to make you happy. So that's obviously a con. Another con is you need to have a large credit limit, 5,000, 10,000, 20, 30,000, which is tied up every 2 weeks. There's a lot of people that aren't comfortable with that. I've spoken to a lot of investors that just like to work in cash. And if you don't like to leverage credit, or if you don't like the idea of having your money tied up every 2 weeks, then e-commerce automation is not going to be for you. Another con is approval rating. So sometimes people are investing into these businesses and they're waiting weeks, if not months, to get their business even started. So once again, they're investing into something, their money's tied up, and they're not getting any returns. Another con is less stake in the business. So for Uber, for example, this business model, the automation team is only taking 15%, and eventually they'll take 30%. With this, e-commerce is taking 50% right from the gate. So I had one investor complain today because they were like, hey, I'm investing up front, I'm taking the risk, and we're splitting the profit 50-50. I don't feel that's fair. I see both sides of the fence, and that's my job, is to paint the pros and cons of each business model and why it may be a fit or not fit for you. And finally is no control. With the e-commerce business, unless you happen to be an e-commerce expert, which if you are, you wouldn't be investing into an automation model, you have no ability to impact or scale your business, which holds a lot of people back from moving forward and makes people feel comfortable about getting started with one of these businesses. So those are the pros and cons of e-commerce automation. Obviously, I still help people get started with it every day. It's a great investment compared to, like I said, a traditional brick and mortar business or buying a piece of real estate or stocks. Much higher rates of return, and it's still a great opportunity. But if you have the liquidity, if you have a little bit more capital, I highly recommend you take a look at Uber Automation. The model is very simple and it has incredible upside. Very simply, what we do is we show people how to purchase automation fleets where we have investors buy into used vehicles, and we have a proprietary system and formula to get drivers that don't have cash, don't have credit, and need a job to drive that vehicle for the investor full time, and the profits are split 50-50. We currently have 38 fleets across the country, and on average, each vehicle is making $2,000 to $4,000 a month to the investor in just 45 days. What makes our drivers make the most money compared to most Uber drivers is they're not just leveraging Uber and Lyft, they're also doing food delivery apps like Grubhub, Postmates, DoorDash, and they also have an Uber fleet manager with proprietary data where we know which app to use at which time, which locations to leverage. So our drivers are a part of a team. So they might know to go to a certain location to pick up people from an event or go to the airport because there's a large number of flights in the area. That's why our drivers are able to make significantly more than the average driver, which allows our investors to, like I said, make $2,000 to $4,000 a month right at the gate. So let me go over the cons of this business before I go over why I believe it's the best business that you can buy into if you're looking to really scale an absentee model in 2021. So one con that I hear about, when I present this idea to investor is the liability. So the one way we mitigate liability is, the driver is actually the one that's paying for the insurance. So they have to actually treat the car just like their own, and they're going through a very rigorous process in their interview. Also, when a driver is driving through Uber or Lyft, if you happen to get a car accident during an active ride, Uber actually covers the ride up to $1 million in insurance and liability. Another con is vehicle acquisition. So right now, Uber automation is $25,000, but you also need to have additional capital for the vehicle. So you must have to either purchase in cash, leverage credit, or leverage your network to purchase those vehicles. That's something that not all investors are willing to do. Some people might rather just buy an Ecom store and let's leave it at that. So you do have to acquire vehicles and have extra capital. Another con is maintenance. So 40% of the gross profit goes into maintenance for this business. So you will have to keep the vehicles up and running, but thankfully we have a management team to automate the entire process for you. So you don't have to worry about the day-to-day process, but it is something that is involved with scaling the business. You're gonna have to get new cars, you're gonna have to purchase new equipment as the business grows. Another con is human resources. So to get to the 3 drivers in 45 days, we're first interviewing 300 plus drivers. So we're investing into 100 plus hours into human resources to find the best people, and you also have to get a manager to run that business for you. So there's a lot of management involved, but that's why you're hiring us to do it for you once again. And then the final con of the Uber automation model is less proof of concept. So if you Google Amazon automation, you're gonna find dozens of companies that offer the service. With Uber, Alan's the only company that's offering it. So that is a risk, when you're investing into one company that's been able to make it work for them. If Alan, something were to happen to him, he's the expert in the space. So you are relying on him and his team to execute, as opposed to, for say, like you invest into an Amazon store and the founder got ill or something, you can find another expert easier to manage that business as opposed to you could for Alan's business, the Uber. However, let me go over the pros and why I believe it's a much stronger investment opportunity for you. So one is market trends. So because of COVID, we're actually seeing huge spikes in food delivery apps because we have people 50, 60 years old who are afraid to go into restaurants. So now they're ordering food on DoorDash, Grubhub, Postmates, and we're getting paid to simply fulfill for those billion-dollar companies that have already invested millions into marketing. Another pro is blue ocean opportunity. So we only have 38 fleets that are leveraging this model, as opposed to with Amazon, there's 2 million plus people that you're competing with. So you have much less competition and the market's wide open. Another pro with Uber automation is it comes with a 15-hour training program. So unlike with Amazon and eBay and Walmart, you don't have any control. There's no way to put your hands on the business and scale it. With this program, you actually have training programs so you can learn exactly what Alan is doing to run the business. So you can roll up your sleeves, you can learn how to acquire vehicles, you can learn how to build a brand, drive traffic to your business model so you can actually acquire clientele privately off Uber and Lyft, which increases your revenue. You can do marketing, you can find companies to support your fleet, and you create passive income by simply making a relationship with a sponsor, so on and so forth. So there's a lot of things that you can do if you want to add value to your business, or you can sit back and let us manage it all for you for 15%. Or you can give the training program to someone that you love, or you can hire someone on salary or to work for a percentage of the business to scale the business for you. So that's a huge pro in my opinion, to be able to actually have control, to have the ability to grow the business. And another pro I want to add is you have assets. That's something that I know that investors really like is they have vehicles that are actually there that they can put their hands on as compared to with the Amazon, eBay, Walmart, Shopify. It's just like a digital screen. They don't have the ability to touch it. If they get to spend it, it's gone. With this business, if something happened to Alan and his team couldn't run it anymore, they still have cars that you could at least get something out of it. Even though assets, vehicles do depreciate, we're showing you how to create a cash flowing asset, at least getting something out of that business. And that's something that I know that a lot of my investors feel comfortable and happy about. Another pro to Uber automation is quick cash flow. So in just 45 days, we'll be able to get a driver in the car and making you money, because there's no products in marketing compared to with Amazon and Walmart. You got to find products, you got to drive traffic to the customer, to your store. When you get a car and you put it in New York City, it's gonna get rides, it's gonna get deliveries. So when we go through the process of getting 3 drivers that are willing to work 6 days a week full time for you, you immediately start seeing cash flow. So that's why we see on average at least $2,000 to $4,000 a month to our investor. To put it in perspective, to make $2,000 a month, the driver just needs to make $166 in a day. They can be making $40, $50 on a single ride. And that's what we do, is we show them how to leverage their time with our program, with our training, to maximize their time and to maximize your profitability. Another pro I want to just add for the Uber business is scalable. So like I said, because it comes with training, you can scale the business much faster. So once you start, when you get 3 cars, you're making $6K a month. You can go to the auction, buy another car for $2,000, $3,000, and turn that to $2,000, $3,000 a month, and just continue to scale and scale. So Alan was able to take his business from 1 vehicle to almost 400K in 1 year, and then the next year he's able to get it to 20 vehicles, which makes a 7-figure annual income. So that's something that I believe has a huge advantage with Uber compared to the Ecom, is you don't have control to scale it, and the scalability isn't nearly as high. This is a business, because it has assets, because it has proof of concept and traction, you can quickly sell it to, for example, a logistics company for a 2x multiple. We had one fleet that was cash flowing 600K in a year. It was sold for a multiple of 1.5 million. And the investor he just bought more cars. So this is a great business model. Like I said, it has training, it has a lot more tangible assets to the business, and allows you to really scale your income in ways that you can't do with e-commerce automation. So if you have liquid capital, 30, 40,000, you have credit, you have the ability to acquire vehicles, I would definitely recommend Uber automation if you're looking to retire or to create a reliable cash flow with your next absentee business. So if you're interested in learning more about this, feel free to click the link below. I'm happy to send you a video presentation, the brochure, as well as the agreement. It's a very simple agreement compared to a lot of the other companies I've worked with. And we can do a video call, we can go over the model, go over the terms, and leave them with you. After the call, you'll know exactly what to do. We did the work, we had the proof. It's all done.